What is the true nature of the world around us? What if everything we perceive, every sensation we feel, every star we see in the night sky, is not fundamentally real in the way we instinctively believe? Is it possible that our existence is akin to characters within an intricate, hyper-realistic video game, unaware of the code that governs our universe? Have you ever experienced a moment of déjà vu, a strange coincidence that makes you question the fabric of reality? These nagging questions, these fleeting moments of uncertainty, touch upon one of the most profound and debated ideas of our time, the simulation theory. The very act of observing our reality might even play a role in shaping it, as suggested by certain interpretations of quantum mechanics and the concept of the observer's paradox, where the act of observation can fundamentally alter the behavior of particles. The notion that our reality might be a simulation, once relegated to the realm of science fiction, is now being seriously considered by philosophers, scientists, and technology pioneers alike, fueled by the exponential advancements in computing power and the immersive realism of virtual reality. The idea that our entire existence could be a sophisticated digital construct has moved from the fringes of thought into mainstream discussion. The possibility, however mind-bending, forces us to confront the very essence of our being in the universe we inhabit. What does it truly mean for something to be real? Our understanding of the world is built upon the information we receive through our senses: sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. These sensory inputs are then processed and interpreted by our brains, creating the reality we experience. But what if these inputs were not originating from a tangible physical world, but rather from lines of code in an advanced computer program? The challenge lies in the fact that our perception is inherently subjective and limited. We can only experience what our senses allow, and our brains can be surprisingly adept at filling in the gaps and creating a coherent narrative, even when the underlying information is incomplete or potentially misleading. The very act of observing our reality might even play a role in shaping it, as suggested by certain interpretations of quantum mechanics and the concept of the observer's paradox, where the act of observation can fundamentally alter the behavior of particles. The simulation hypothesis, while seemingly a product of our digital age, has deep roots in philosophical history. For millennia, thinkers have pondered the possibility that our perceived reality might not be the ultimate truth. Consider Plato's famous allegory of the cave, described in his work The Republic. Imagine prisoners chained inside a cave, facing a wall. They have never seen the outside world. Their entire reality consists of the shadows cast on the wall by objects passing behind them, illuminated by a fire. These shadows are all they know, and they believe them to be real. If one prisoner were to escape and see the true world outside, the initial shock and the difficulty in adjusting to the bright sunlight would be immense. Upon returning to the cave to tell the others about the reality they are missing, he would likely be met with disbelief and even hostility, as they are comfortable in their familiar, albeit limited, perception. This allegory serves as a powerful metaphor for our own potential limitations in perceiving the true nature of reality, suggesting that what we experience might just be shadows of a deeper, more fundamental existence. Centuries later, the philosopher René Descartes, in his Meditations on First Philosophy, posed a similarly unsettling question with his thought experiment involving an evil demon. Descartes imagined a powerful, malevolent being capable of deceiving him about everything, even the most fundamental truths of mathematics and logic. How could he be certain that 1 + 1 = 2, or that the world around him was real, if such a demon could manipulate his very thoughts and perceptions? This thought experiment highlights the radical skepticism that questions the reliability of our senses and the very foundations of our knowledge. These historical ideas, along with other ancient concepts like the butterfly dream of Zhuangzi, where the philosopher dreamt of being a butterfly and questioned upon waking whether he was a man who had dreamt of being a butterfly or a butterfly now dreaming of being a man, and the Indian philosophy of Maya, which views the world as an illusion, all point to a long-standing human contemplation of the illusory nature of reality. The modern simulation theory builds upon these philosophical foundations, but it is heavily influenced by the rapid advancements in technology. One of the key arguments supporting the theory revolves around the concept of the technological singularity. This hypothetical point in the future suggests that technological progress, particularly in artificial intelligence, will accelerate at an exponential rate, eventually leading to intelligence far surpassing human capabilities. If such a singularity were to occur, it's conceivable that these superintelligent entities could possess the ability to create incredibly detailed and realistic simulations, perhaps even entire universes complete with conscious beings. Another compelling argument, famously proposed by philosopher Nick Bostrom, centers on the likelihood of advanced civilizations creating ancestor simulations. Bostrom argues that if a civilization reaches a post-human stage with immense computing power, it would likely have the capacity to run vast numbers of high-fidelity simulations of their ancestors or variations thereof. For purposes ranging from scientific research to sheer entertainment, he presents a trilemma. Either humanity will go extinct before reaching this stage, or post-human civilizations will choose not to run such simulations, or we are almost certainly living in one. Given the potential number of simulated realities that could be created, it becomes statistically more probable that we are inhabitants of a simulation rather than the original base reality.
They're on a loop. They go around the block, they come back, they go around again. They just go round and round, round and round.
Furthermore, the simulation theory offers a potential explanation for the Fermi paradox. Why haven't we detected any signs of extraterrestrial life in the vastness of the universe, despite the high probability of its existence? One possibility is that our simulation is designed to prevent contact with other civilizations outside of it, perhaps as part of the simulation's parameters or the simulator's intentions. Despite the intriguing arguments in its favor, the simulation theory faces significant counterarguments and criticisms. One of the main challenges lies in the sheer scale and complexity of our universe. Simulating every atom, every particle, and every interaction within such a vast system would require unimaginable computational power, far beyond anything we can currently conceive. Some physicists argue that it might even be fundamentally impossible to perfectly simulate the universe without producing measurable inconsistencies or glitches. The energy requirements for such a simulation would also be astronomical. From a philosophical standpoint, the simulation theory is often criticized for being unfalsifiable. There is currently no way to definitively prove or disprove whether we are living in a simulation. Any evidence we might find could simply be another layer of the simulation itself, leading to an infinite regress problem. If our reality is a simulation, what about the reality of the simulators, and so on? Some philosophers also argue that the theory is self-defeating. If we are living in a simulation, can we truly trust the scientific principles and reasoning we use to argue for the simulation hypothesis in the first place? The very foundation of our knowledge would be called into question. Ultimately, despite the compelling thought experiments and logical arguments, there is currently no direct empirical evidence to support the claim that we are living in a simulation. If we were to discover that our reality is indeed a simulation, what would be the profound implications for our existence? One of the most debated aspects is the concept of free will. Would our choices be truly our own, or would they be predetermined by the underlying code of the simulation? Some argue that even within a simulation, a form of free will could still exist, allowing for genuine choices within the defined parameters. Others contend that our actions would ultimately be the result of the simulation's programming. The meaning of life would also be thrown into question. Would our lives still hold value and purpose if they were part of a simulated world? Some believe that even in a simulation, our experiences of love, joy, and connection would still be meaningful. Others speculate that our purpose might be defined by the intentions of the simulators. Our understanding of the universe itself would undergo a radical transformation. What we perceive as the fundamental laws of physics might simply be the rules programmed into our simulated world. Interestingly, some have pointed to potential connections between the simulation theory and modern scientific fields. The strange and counterintuitive behavior of quantum particles, such as the observer effect and the quantization of energy, has led some to speculate that these phenomena could be artifacts of a simulated reality. The idea that reality might be fundamentally composed of information, similar to how data is processed in a computer, also resonates with the simulation hypothesis. These potential overlaps, while not definitive proof, offer intriguing avenues for further exploration and thought. Ultimately, the question of whether we are living in a simulation remains one of the great unanswered mysteries. While the theory lacks definitive proof and faces significant challenges, it serves as a powerful catalyst for exploring fundamental questions about the nature of reality, consciousness, and our place in the cosmos. Like Plato's prisoners in the cave and Descartes contemplating the evil demon, we are left to ponder the true fabric of our existence. What are your thoughts on this mind-bending possibility? Share your perspectives in the comments below. And if this exploration into the nature of reality has sparked your curiosity, be sure to delve into our other videos for more thought-provoking journeys into the unknown.